We're live. We made it, bro. Welcome to Extra Butta, your
Made
podcast for
it.
great conversation and great movies. This is Cam,
This is Dylan.
and we
Damn.
are watching. I mean, this is Dylan. This is a Dylan pick. I feel bad because I came into this movie later in life, and it was one of those movies when I watched it. I think I was like 13, maybe 12 when I first watched the first, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I just was like, why did this take me so long? This is one of the best movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
I don't know what age I first saw this.
Do you know?
I had to have been young, like that kind of age. Yeah.
You're probably younger than 13. I saw it late. I mean, this movie came out in what, 81?
Yeah.
So I mean,
I probably saw it a little younger than that, but yeah, it's definitely absolutely essential viewing.
yeah,
I'm not
it's
gonna lie
it's
about that.
it's not even debatable when it this movie's so freaking good, man. Oh, this was a good pick. When you picked this one, I was like, wow, I can't believe we've never talked about doing this one. Did we ever talk about doing this one?
I'm not sure. That was literally my first thought. Was like we were trying to figure out what we were gonna do next, what we were gonna do like in between guests, and I was sitting there just like staring at my bank of movies, and I was like, "Holy crap, have we done Raiders?" And I was like, "It almost seems mean that we haven't done Raiders."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's literally the. Have we done a Spielberg movie before? I'm not trying to think back on our catalog. Obviously, we just did Star Wars, so we did it to Lucas.
Well, we did Jurassic Park at one point, didn't
Oh
we?
yeah, so yeah. I'm saying like this is the culmination of like at this point what it like. Obviously, Lucas was known for Star Wars. Spielberg had done Close Encounters and Jaws.
Yeah,
No,
Close Encounters, Jaws, and Sugarland Express and
right.
Duel.
So it's like these heavyweights of titans of the film industry come together and make, I don't know, the coolest action hero of all freaking time. Like it's insane, bro. It's freaking insane.
Yeah, this was done right after Spielberg shot 1941. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's horrible.
I have not.
It was his
1941.
attempt to do like a slapstick comedy thing, and it's got like John Belushi, and it's about like World
Oh.
War II time, and you think it would be good, and it was really difficult to watch, and it bombed big time.
Mm-hmm.
And Spielberg had a really bad problem when he started. Was like he was really talented, and his movies obviously delivered, but he was really bad about going over budget and overtime.
Right.
So when they did this, Lucas was like, "Hey, yo, this is my money. You better get right." So they planned the shit out of this, storyboarded the shit out of this, and it actually was just like under time, under budget, and it proved like that Spielberg could really like he could get it. He could get it.
He could
You
get
know what I
it.
mean?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Because how many? Now I'm really testing your nerd because you would know better than I. Do you know how many Star Wars that came out before this movie came out? Was it
Just
just
one,
okay?
because
So just
just the first one, yeah.
got it. Okay,
Because
okay,
the
okay, okay.
famous story from this is that like Lucas didn't even want to be in town when Star Wars premiered because he was like it almost killed him to make Star Wars. He's like, "Fuck it, this thing's going down." So like he had gone on
Mm.
vacation, Hawaii, met up with Spielberg, and they discussed like the making of this film like on the beach. Make a sandcastles, I guess,
Two
because that's
rich
what I
people,
would.
man.
That's what, yeah. What you doing? Sandcastle.
Sandcastles.
And then, uh, what's weird is Spielberg, like a lot of like really big directors, have always wanted to make a Bond movie for some reason and just have never gotten the opportunity. And
Mm-hmm.
Spielberg wanted to, and Lucas is basically just like, yeah, no, this is way better than Bond, and I agree,
Yeah,
like
yeah. I'm not
heavily.
even. I think it's yeah. Indy is Indy's the coolest man to ever grace film. Like obviously, a lot of Harrison Ford's characters are super cool. Han Solo. I forget the name of the guy from Blade Runner, but a lot of his characters are like super cool.
Deckard,
Decker, yeah, but
yeah,
Indiana Jones is like there are so many. This movie came out, and I've seen so many people try to do recreations on their home VH like tape recorders, just trying to recreate these scenes because of how much they're ingrained in your freaking skull.
The
Like
set pieces are so
they're
iconic.
so
The
good,
rolling
bro.
boulder, the fight with like the weird plane,
Oh my
the
gosh,
whole
bro.
arc itself, like the scenes like burn into you so well that like they
We'll
just
get
lend
there. We'll get there.
themselves
Here, let
to
me
they lend themselves so well to that.
but yeah, let's start off. Dylan, why did you pick this one? What made you pick Indiana Jones, other than the fact that we had just disrespectfully had never done it before?
Other than the sin we committed.
Right, exactly.
you know, Raiders, at least like if we're not even gonna talk about the other Indiana Jones, Raiders to me is up there with Wizard of Oz as being like
Ooh.
the ultimate escape movie. Like it's got everything you want to look for. It's action, it's romance, it's got comedy. Like
Yep.
everything about it is just like quintessential like American cinema. And as far as like classic movies that got played in the theater again, I've seen Raiders more times than any other classic thing. Every time it comes up for like an anniversary or whatever reason they want to throw it in, I
Yeah.
go and watch it. And the last time I saw it was the 40X theater. It was freaking awesome, man.
Oh, really? That's
It
cool.
was perfect in the art in
That's
that 4D
cool.
theater, man. I was cracking up the whole time.
I've seen it in a theater and in a drive-in, I think. Seen it twice, but like obviously I wasn't even born when this movie came out, but yeah, it's I can imagine you being the guy that's like, anytime you see that, it's showing at some random theater, you're like, I'm in there. I don't give a crap. I want to see it in any way, shape, or form I possibly can.
People will be like, "Oh yeah, Avatar is what is the movie that cinemas are made for." You can
Sure.
shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, bro. I'm gonna say it. Like
That's fair.
this is the like one of the examples of a film that like the cinema was made for this. Like the picture, the scope of it, the sound of it. Like think of iconic sound effects, and Star Wars and these indie films are it. Like the punching, the whip, the everything.
Oh,
Like
no one
it's
shoots a
it's
gun like
it's
Indiana
made,
Jones, man.
dude,
No
with
one
the
shoots a gun,
swag, just
bro. The sound effects
with
look
the
so.
swag.
And like right now, we're watching the opening scene, and I think this is arguably the coolest introduction to a character, right? Like,
Yeah. Oh, hands down.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't think
What's
there's a better
what's cooler than
introduction.
this?
Like the way they set him up, the that beginning where he whips that gun out of dude's hand and they show him,
Yeah.
and it's not even, they don't even do the indie theme. It's just like a dark, like lower
Yeah.
theme.
Like he's
And
almost a villain when the musical motif
oh
comes in.
wow,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Like it's
Yeah,
like
mate.
wham,
Yeah,
wham, wham. And you just see
yeah,
like the brim and shit, and he's like the coolest motherfucker you've ever seen.
right. And like, so it goes from that to like him like being, yeah, the coolest part. Like you think he's like a superhero in terms of like what he's pulling off to
Mm-hmm.
get that the idol. And then when obviously the big boulder chases him and he's running out, and then he gets chased by those Hoovians or whatever those people are called. I forget what they're called.
Who I don't
Let me look it up real quick.
Jovitos?
Hovitas. There you go. What I call Hoovians.
Damn, I
The
pulled
Who's
that
from
out of
Doctor
nowhere.
Seuss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Lorax.
yeah, the
The
Lorax's
Lorax
people.
is
Yeah,
pissed as fuck that he took his gold piece.
his gold tree. Um, yeah, but then he gets chased by them, and then he's like screaming like a mad person, so he's human. And then he gets in the
Yeah,
plane, and then he's immediately afraid of snakes. Like the way that they're able to be like, he's the coolest person in the world, but instantly humanize him is
yeah.
so cool, bro. Like
It's
man.
the characterization
Ah,
immediately. I was trying to think what are some other like character introductions that are like on par. And the one
sure.
that I thought of immediately was Captain Jack when he goes in the little dinghy boat and then steps
Ooh.
onto the dock and
Yeah.
then
When
he
it's
just like
sinking or
swaggers
whatever.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That
I was
shit's
like,
so
dude, if I was
gas.
gonna think of something, that's one of them.
That's a great
I'm gonna think.
intro.
I'm gonna think like all night about what other ones are as good as that. Because it's
That's
gonna
a really
bother
good.
me
That's a
now.
really good one. Yeah. I mean,
It's
it's hard to match Indy's intro, but that's a really
oh
good one.
yeah,
That's a really good one. That's a really good choice.
that one's not
Um,
bad.
yeah, like the intro scene alone to just what Harrison Ford does with this character. It's hard to think of like any, like when it comes to movie characters, like if we're ranking them, like who's the
Hmm.
like Indy is top 5. Like you can't like I can't name
like heroes of all time.
You know what I mean?
Film?
Like I can't name 4 better ones than Indiana Jones. You know what I mean?
Gosh. And
I
what's
don't think
funny
I
is
can.
you want to say Han Solo, but then you don't want to put another Ford character.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, he's like
But the two feel so different.
2 Fords
that
are in top 5 is crazy, you know.
They almost feel so different that it's like you could still put both of them on there and still feel okay with it.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what I
fair.
mean?
You could. You definitely could.
It's that's a difficult list. If I was trying to make a top 5, I was trying to think of top 5 Spielberg movies of all time, and I was like, the man has done too much. It's too much gold there. Like,
oh yeah.
how would you ever like narrow that down?
You saw the Fablemans, right? I still need to see that.
I did.
And you said that movie is
did.
about like him, like it's about Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, it's definitely something that must have been difficult for him to make, in terms of it being so personal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he talked about making it before, but he was unsure because it's a lot of stuff that's like unflattering about his parents, and I think he wasn't sure about doing that when they were alive. I wouldn't be sure about it either, because it was like, to spoil it, even though it's not like it's a TV show.
Sure.
It's like his parents had divorced, but it was a little messy because his father's childhood friend that they considered as like an uncle is the person that she like fell in love with, and I was like, damn, that's a lot to put on film. So I can see why.
And this really happened. Like this is the truth of Steve.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely pretty like on point, but the movie was really good. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, it reminded me when I read George Lucas's autobiography, and it helped me understand like, you know, why he made his films, why he sold his company. This movie really made me understand why Spielberg is the master storyteller that he is. And I think
really
his upbringing had a lot to do with like, you know, how he got to be in the craft that he is, and like why he's so imaginative. Very good, man. I really recommend it.
Oh yeah, I feel like when it comes to Spielberg, like if we're comparing the like directors to like sports icons, he's Jordan, right? Like he's or better yet,
I never thought about that.
Better yet, maybe he's
maybe he's Tom Brady. He's old and he's still got it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because it's like he's good
I get
at
where you're going,
everything. He's good at everything. You know what I mean? Is he okay? Here we go. He's Pele.
He's Pele.
Pele, bro. He's the GOAT. He's the undisputed. Like, you can say Messi, you can say all these other fantastic, you know, soccer or football stars, but there's only one Pele, you know. And I feel like with Spielberg, it's like from Schindler's List, The Color Purple, Jaws, Jurassic Park.
Oh my life.
You know what I mean? Bro, like it's like he's able to tell so many stories that aren't even something that he's lived through. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
he's definitely like a pillar of cinema.
Yeah, it's like, just like if you give him something, he can like. I know that obviously he has some duds. I don't know if I've seen them, to be perfectly honest, because every Spielberg movie I've ever personally seen has been great. I mean, as a kid, I remember I watched The Iron Giant so many times, bro. So many times. I loved that movie, bro. Oh, here he is. Yeah, that's when he's running from the Jovitas and he's screaming for his freaking life.
Jovitas.
Dang, man.
Yeah, Spielberg's definitely one of those like all-time things. And I think his special magic is when you watch his interviews and shit like that, you just kind of think like, that's a kid. That's like a 17-year-old kid with the whole world in front of him, but he's got millions at his disposal and just like an insane pedigree. But that's what he reminds me of. He reminds me of that because I feel like a lot of these other directors who grew up in that age and before that became very like, I don't know, a little old, a little bitter, and a little like rigid. And
you can see it now, bro, when they're calling out the Marvel films. Like I understand it. Like I get it. I understand being Ridley Scott and being like, there was a time when I could get a movie out and everyone would see it. Like I understand feeling that way. Yeah, I understand it. I understand feeling like I'm making original films and these comic book movies keep making so much money, but at what point is it be better. You know what I mean? I'm not saying Ridley Scott's bad. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that
Gladiator, baby.
you know what I mean? Of course, like I'm not
Alien.
what am, I'm there's another director that I'm blanking on that said the same thing about
Scorsese, man.
Scorsese.
Scorsese
Yeah,
been
exactly. Like
ripping it.
I would never
Yeah.
say Scorsese's a bad filmmaker. That is insane
Yeah.
to say. But I will say that this is where films are now. They're in this like comic books are what sells because nostalgia sells. That's just facts. So you have to contend with that. That's just where we're at. You know what I mean? It sucks, but that's where we're at. No studio is giving money to Chef. You know what I mean? Like it's just not happening anymore. And it's sad because a lot of those movies are great, but it's like
Yeah.
those are just straight to Netflix movies now.
That's why you see a movie like Blade Runner 2049, which is one of the better movies that's been out in the
Oh
last 10
man,
years.
that movie
That's
was
why
great.
you see it flop at the box office, even though it'll be, phenomenal for years to come.
Yep.
But it's nothing, it's weird too, because it's not like it's any different from any other era of film since it started. Each
Mm,
decade, each kind of season and period is all the same. It's all serving what the audience is currently craving. If the
right.
audience wants pictures of a border collie saving a kid from a fucking well, that's what they get. And it actually saved a company in the 30s,
Yeah.
and if they now want these films with these heroes, that's what they get. Now we're hitting the hero fatigue, so you might eventually see them start to pull away from that, and we
Yep.
won't get Fast and Furious 25. We'll get something else. it,
Exactly.
it
Exactly.
ebbs and flows, but that's why Spielberg remains a favorite, because he seems to just kind of like bend and move and always doing something cool. He's always got another project. He's always working at two at once, which I don't know how you do. He's a madman,
Yeah.
He's
Here's
always he's
another.
always got something.
Here's another great that she might as well have fuck me on her eyelids. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This is one of
Yeah,
those
pretty much. Pretty much.
I remember when we were talking about Alfred Hitchcock, we were talking about how in Psycho he gave up so much exposition. Like because he had
Mm.
to, right? Around that time, he just had to be like explain to the audience what is happening.
Yeah, we were talking about how like that's how they did it in the 50s and
Right.
60s, was they were just
This
like a narrator almost. Yeah.
right. And the way that they give exposition in this movie is so great. I
Yeah.
love the way they just be like they give you everything about the arc in the scene that we're about to see. Like, this is what it is. This is why it's important, blah, blah, blah. And then like the whole time, I think there's that one scene or that one bit where there's like a beam of light that comes from it, and they're asking Indy what it is, and he's like,
Oh, it's so good.
I don't know, like
They
it's
zoom in and like
it's
you get
it's a bolt from
chills.
Jesus or something. Like
Yeah.
you could tell Indiana's like, I want it. I don't care what it does. I want to get it.
But it works so well because instead of just being like a dump of exposition, they play on his character, the fact that he's
Right.
actually a teacher and a savant for knowledge, and they're just like, here, he's going to use the blackboard, he's going to write it and shit like that. That's smart filmmaking, to block
Oh,
out a
dude.
scene where an exposition is given, and instead of it being dull, it still serves a purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think like we talk about in today's society or today's like media consumption, a lot of like TV shows seem to do a little better than movies in some aspects because you get to live with these characters for so long. You kind of understand their nuances and everything like that. These characters feel so lived in, like they feel
Mm.
so like they've known each other forever. So it's almost like when you're watching the movie, it doesn't feel like you're, even though you're being introduced to new characters, they're not doing the whole exposition for you in terms of them. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of just like we're telling Indiana Jones like these two feel like they've known each other for years. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like it's such a unique way of having the audience like get exposition
Yeah.
in a way that's like, yeah, these characters, they live for this, they die for this, and it's not in a way that I wish I could have another movie that could explain it to, where it feels like these characters are just like, I don't know, like they're all just meeting for the first time, even though they shouldn't be. I don't know how to
Yeah.
describe it. Like I gotta find another movie where I can.
You kind of know it in your gut though when you're watching a film. Like you can feel like the acting and the writing is good when, yeah, people who are supposed to be friends inherently just seem that way to you, even though it's the first
Right?
scene. You
Exactly.
know
Like
what I
it's
mean?
like those like horror, like those new age horror movies where it's like a bunch of college kids.
Yeah.
And it's like we've been friends
Oh,
since we were
jeez.
babies, but like the way they
Yeah.
talk, you can clearly tell they weren't. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. Like these characters feel like they've known each other, like I don't know.
No, I get exactly what you're saying. And that's either good acting or like in a film where it's like a kids cast, you have to let the kids and people mingle beforehand. You can't be cold on the set. Otherwise
Right.
it's not gonna come off as like genuine, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Who wrote this
Yeah.
movie again? Because it's Lucas, right? Yeah,
Uh
you have it on thing.
there was a
Philip
guy named
Kaufman and
Philip
Lawrence Kasdan.
Kaufman. Kaufman, it was known too for helping Clint Eastwood do the Outlaw of Josie Wales, which is one of his more popular
What?
westerns. And then
Wow.
Kasdan ended up, yeah, co-writing that Empire Strikes Back script. Um, it's weird because like the sequel to this is fascinating to me because it wasn't as popular, but it was actually like a prequel. And I thought that was really dope because
Mm-hmm.
it reminded me of the new Mad Max, where it was like they had a recast.
Ah.
They didn't put Mel Gibson, they just recast him as Tom Hardy. And they
Right.
basically said, like, we're not giving you a time period. This is just another adventure of the Road Warrior. And I like
Yeah.
Temple of Doom because it's just like, hey, instead of trying to be a second film and a follow up, and we'll have to do all this work to make it better than the original, we're just going to tell you it's another adventure of Indiana Jones, and this is just it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
Yeah.
I think that's such a baller move because you take away all the pressure of trying to top yourself, and you just make something that's like
Make something different.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they really went for it and contributed to that creation of the PG-13 rating. That's a funny ass story, man.
Bro, I'm telling you right now that seeing this movie, rewatching this movie, there's so much blood in it.
In this
There's
first
so much
one, dude,
violence, bro.
just like Tommy guns and shit
Bro,
going.
people melting.
Just
You know what I mean? Like that in that first scene where it's like that dude like
uh,
is a feet or an arrow in his eye and the eye's like bloody. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I
And
remember.
you got Doc Ock there that gets killed and he's got like an arrow
Oh,
through his throat or
dude, there's
whatever.
that scene where he's
Yeah.
man. Oh, where he's fighting that dude in that airplane propeller
Oh,
chops his
yeah.
face. Like,
He's
I know they don't show
fighting
his
like,
face.
yeah.
Crazy, bro. Like this
Fighting
movie.
like fucking Major Armstrong from Full Metal, and he gets caught
Yeah,
in the blades.
dude. Like this movie. Here's where he talks about the light coming out of it, and he's
Oh
just
man,
like,
I love
yeah.
it. I don't care what it
Power
is.
God or
Yeah,
something. I don't know. I'm gonna get it.
get me on a plane. I'll get it for you. Give
I'll
me
go
20
get it.
minutes.
Don't
Give me
worry
20
about me.
minutes and a steak sandwich. Don't even worry
Yeah,
about it.
bro. Angelica and I, not last night, but the night before, we watched Too Fast, Too Furious.
Stop.
This is a tangent, but I have to talk about it because so we
Gosh.
and I know I'm in the minority and I understand that.
That you
Too
love it?
Fast, Too Furious is my favorite Fast and Furious movie ever made, and I don't
Out of
care
all of them?
out of every single one.
Oh my god. You just broke the hearts of like all those closet Tokyo Drift fans.
Oh yeah, yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like I understand that Fast Five is a great movie. I understand that Fast Seven and 6 and 7, great movies. I'm not Fast and Furious. First one's great, but Too Fast, Too Furious.
Would you agree with me that it's a comedy
Yeah,
before
it's
anything?
the perfect
It's a
level
buddy
of
comedy.
if a buddy like Paul Walker, and again, these movies to me are Paul Walker. Without Paul Walker, Fast and Furious means absolutely nothing to me.
I
So when he
feel that.
passed away, I don't care about Vin Diesel saying family 8,000 times. I just want Paul Walker. And when y'all sit here on this stupid ass script and be like,
Yeah.
where's Brian? He's with the kids. Stop it. Cut it out. That doesn't make any sense.
This ain't about Brian anymore, Cameron. It's about Dom's
Like
brother.
you know what I mean? Yeah, like it's just to do this John Cena. Like, what are we talking about right now? Like, I
The
understand
next
that.
film will be
Oh,
Dom's cousin, and it'll be Roman Reigns.
yeah, all of a sudden, Rome.
It's just every wrestling
Every
star.
wrestler that wants to be an actor, exactly. I don't. Anyway, sorry. I say all that to say we were watching it, and I don't know if people remember, but Ludacris is in that movie. And there's a scene in that movie where Ludacris tells Brian in the beginning where they need a race and they look like the Power Rangers because every car has lights like that match the car. And he's like, "Give me 4 minutes." And then Brian meets him there. And Ludacris's character is just a guy that runs races on the side and owns a garage. Like that's what he does. And if you watch the last Fast and the Furious movie, this man is breaking into the Pentagon. What changed about that man's character?
Tej, right? Is his name?
Yeah, I think so. Like, what changed? How did he go from a man who just owned a car shop and did local street races in Miami to I can decrypt myself into presidential confidential files,
taking out satellites, cracking safes?
When was he able to do this?
It's
crazy, bro.
Scorsese might be right about that.
You know what I mean? Like, but and those are the movies where I understand where Scorsese goes like, all right, I just made, or Kubrick being like, I just made a fantastic epic. Oh my
god, bro!
Was it Matt Damon and Adam Driver? What was it, the night one?
I can't even remember. If Kubrick was fucking alive, he would be so mad.
Oh, bro,
he would be burning down studios if he saw what happened to the film. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It's crazy.
He would.
MTV used to do kind of the same thing Disney Channel did, where they did those like behind the scenes looks at films. I don't know if you ever remember MTV.
I don't remember that. What was it called?
Oh man, I don't remember. But MTV did a behind the scenes look at Too Fast, Too Furious. And it was when, I don't know why they would do this. They would put like the night vision on and they would send them into the movie theater room and like just film the audience because they don't have a right to film the screen. And we watched, I don't know, it was MTV, I'm pretty sure. And we watched that before the movie came out and we got like super hype about it. And then Lee had like a big birthday party or something. And there was like a bunch of us that went to the movie theater to watch this. And I just remember the beginning of the movie because it was like the Universal logo or whatever. And then it became like a rim for a car. And I was like, oh, it's on. This is the coolest shit I've ever seen.
Oh, man. Doesn't Lee have the skyline that Paul Walker has in this movie?
I don't think he doesn't have the exact model. I don't know all the years and the numbers. And
sure.
It's
but
like
he has a skyline, right?
He does have a skyline. I don't remember. He'll kill me.
Oh yeah.
That was definitely the inspiration of it. We saw this movie and I think that was it. He was like, I'm getting that one day, like no matter what. And he did get it. So
yeah, he does have it with a freaking Godzilla blowing blue fire on it.
Yeah,
like, it looks crazy.
It's fun as hell. It's definitely a project because it's older than we are. So
oh, the car?
I think it's 93 is when it was.
Oh wow. Made.
So there's a lot of things that are just breaking and ancient on it.
Sure, but did he spend a lot of money on it? Let's not get into it.
I don't think it was as much as you really would think it was. Which
really?
Is kind of weird. Yeah, it's more about the fact that all the money will be sunk into like getting it how you want it to get
got
it.
And got
repairing whatever the hell falls off each week. You know what I mean? It's like, what? There goes the bumper. It's like Ant-Man when he goes, jeez. Oh, my mom died and my dad got deported and my wife left
me. Yeah.
But I got the van.
Jeez, man.
It's all about optimism, kids. It's all about optimism,
bro. All right, sorry. That very quick tangent about Too Fast, Too Furious. Back to Indiana Jones, man. I'm sorry about that.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
So we talked about the writers. Let's talk about the cinematography of. Oh, how do you say this guy's last name? Douglas.
I don't even know.
Slocumb.
I wrote it, but I don't really know it. I don't really know him as much, other than the fact that I knew that. I think by the time they did the fourth movie, it either passed or his health wasn't good, so he didn't do Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is
how you feel. How you feel about Crystal Skull?
Here's my thing, and I have to be honest. Growing up after Holes, I was a huge Shia LaBeouf fan.
That's true.
Like one of the biggest Shia fans. I loved him in the Transformers movies. I loved him in Eagle Eye. If anyone ever saw that,
Yes,
So I was a
sir.
huge Shia LaBeouf fan. So knowing he was going to be Indiana Jones, I was like, let's fucking go. Like, he's going to kill it. This is going to be great. And then I remember I left that movie. I watched it at a Regal in Maryland. And I walked out of there like, what was that? It didn't even feel like Indiana Jones to me. Like, it was just like, what did I just watch?
That's funny as hell, man.
And I was young. So it's like I was too young to be having these like nerdy film opinions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even then I knew like that didn't feel right. Like, it didn't feel like the other movies that I've watched of Indiana Jones.
Crystal Skull is one of my all-time favorite like childhood stories that I have concerning it.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
I was hyped as hell for this film.
Sure.
Because back then, iTunes used to like do like a, I don't even know what it was. It was almost like a live premiere. Like at a certain time, the trailer would drop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was on that computer when the trailer dropped for Spider-Man 3, and you got the first glimpse. You got the first glimpse of him like changing into the Venom and the symbiote and everything.
Bro,
like
you remember the Pop-Tarts?
What are you talking about? Pop-Tarts? What you mean?
I will not forget what we were talking about. I will not forget what we were talking about.
There's Spider-Man 3 Pop-Tarts that I don't know about. Can I tell you, dude? Before we go on, to add to the Pop-Tart thing, because I want to go on we'll go on a mega tangent. Dude, do you know what I tried getting you for Christmas? I never told you what I attempted to get you, and
what was it?
I failed so hard. These are the Spider-Man Pop-Tarts?
Bro, you never had these?
So cool. They're red frosted spider berry.
So they were just like strawberry Pop-Tarts, but they were dyed. So it was like a blue icing with like webbing and then like red. I just remember as a kid being like, these were so gas. Like, they're so good.
Were they good? Like they actually tasted good?
I mean, it tasted like strawberry Pop-Tarts, but like the fact that they looked like this was like cool enough.
I never saw those. I don't remember those at all.
Yeah, they were really cool, bro. Anyway, sorry.
Generic. We might have been eating generic Pop-Tarts. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. This is probably like
80
pounds of food dye. I'm sure, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that this is not good for you. But I remember them. I remember me constantly wanting them. My mom was just like, nah. Because now they do this where it's like they just put like a little design on white icing.
Tattoo sticker thingy.
Yeah, it doesn't look like this.
I didn't even know they did those.
It doesn't look like this.
Oh, yeah. So I tried so hard to find remember we were talking like in one of the earliest episodes of the show, we were talking about the Reed posters you get.
Oh, yeah.
The library, like the 90s posters.
Yeah.
I tried so hard to get you the Yo-Yo Ma Reed poster.
Cost so much money.
And here's my thing. There was a dude on eBay selling a couple of them, but this homeboy was trying to call them vintage. So he wanted like $99 and like a $16 like shipping fee. And I was like, dude, I don't even know how to justify that. And then I found out this ALA store sells them. Yeah. But you have to be a member of that and pay dues and shit. So I hit a huge roadblock. Yeah, I was so upset because it looks like you could just buy it. So
you can't just add to cart?
What? I tried so hard. I can't remember. I was like, dude, this is gonna be the funniest Christmas gift for this man.
Bro, I wouldn't even know how to react if you gave me a Yo-Yo Ma poster.
Dude, it was gonna be the funniest shit that's ever happened.
I would frame it.
I tried all sorts of ways.
Isn't he reading Goodnight Moon?
And get this. Yeah, he is. Playing like it was sitting on the steps with like a big ass cello.
Reading Goodnight Moon.
Because I saw other ones, but nobody's really selling them. Like nobody has them. They're just gonna be like in a closet with mothballs and asbestos in your local high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was bad, and it took forever to even find the eBay for it. And he has a couple other ones, but I was like, dude, how you trying to charge $100? $20 shipping for like a little baby 20 by 18 poster, you know what I mean? It was funny as hell.
These Reed posters were the shit, dude.
I'm telling you, you just always stared at them because they were so mesmerized, man.
But anyway, I'm so sorry.
Ones. Oh no,
Crystal
you're
Skull.
good.
Crystal Skull. What's the story?
Okay, so the Crystal Skull, trailer, I think, came on the same thing, like the iTunes player thing.
Mhm.
And I watched like 30 times. I watched it in reverse. I was so fucking hyped for it because I was like, dude, because that was kind of before we hit this huge era of like nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
were slowly going through and starting to make like these sequels that are like 20 years in the making sequels, but it was
Right.
before they hit like 50 of them. So I was like hype as shit.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and to this day, I still defend it because I understand why it is that they made it the way they did. I understand like the inspirations that came into it.
Well, help me
I
explain. Help explain
still
it to me then. Maybe you'll change my heart.
I still don't think that it completely fits Indiana. Like you're right about that in a lot of ways because they
Mhm.
established a lot of like his character and his style.
Mhm.
But the films from the beginning are based off serial pictures. Basically, when you used to go to the theater, instead of just watching the movie, you'd watch like a cartoon, and a lot of times they'd have like a 15 to 20 minute like serial, and they were like the Adventures of Buck Rogers, they were like the
Sure.
Adventures of Zorro and shit like that, and they would end on cliffhangers, and they would be like these little adventure things, so they would entice you to come back next time, see the next piece of the adventure. That's what Star Wars is, and that's what Indiana Jones is. It's Indy. He's in a fight, he gets this, then it's a cliffhanger, then he's on to the next fight, then he gets into the next scrape. So that's always what he's been, is adventures like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when you get to Crystal Skull, because it's in a different time period, it's in the 50s, a lot of the inspiration is drawn from like those Cold War pictures, those monster movies, the B movies, shit like, you know, Harryhausen things where it's like radiation got onto an ant and blew it up and shit like that. So
Right.
I get that a lot of the picture is it's Russians instead, it's the Cold War, it's weird occult artifacts, and then it's the alien things, and it's Area 51. So I
Right.
kind of like the vibe of it. I do agree with people about all the areas that it's faulted because it fell flat, which is why I got a lot of hope for the new movie. But I
Mhm.
still really like it a lot just because I think it's still fun.
Okay. All right.
And I was in that mindset when it came out on DVD. And back then, they didn't really have the shit you have now. You can purchase it digitally or you're going to watch
Right.
it on a streamer. So
Yeah.
you had to go get the DVD. I did not have a license at the time.
Okay.
I barely had $20 to my name at the time. And I was like, how am I going to get this DVD? Because where we live, there's nothing near us. There's no Walmart, Target, and the mall's too
Is
far.
this in New
In New
Jersey?
Hampshire,
Oh,
yeah.
New Hampshire. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So I thought to myself, dude, I've been to like Walgreens and Rite Aid. And once in a while, when they do like a big movie, they'll put out this little box on the counter with like 10 copies of this brand new movie. And I was like,
Yeah.
and that is far as hell by bike, but it's not as far as like the mall and Walmart. So
No shot, bro.
I got on my fucking bike and I biked fucking miles. And this is a BMX bike. This ain't no switching gears on a hill thing. This is all leg.
Bro,
I
you were
biked
Indiana
fucking
Jones,
miles
homie.
to this
You
Rite
were.
Aid to get this DVD.
Dang.
Got there and confirmed my suspicion about there being a little box. Bought that shit for like a crisp $20 bill and
Yeah.
biked all the way home. And I was still hyped to like out of breath to watch that shit. I was so hyped about it.
Wow.
And it's one of my favorite memories because it's biking miles for a movie that's not that great on the
Right.
surface, but the memory means so much to me because it instilled this fact that like I had this zeal for storytelling and
You
just
did,
adventure
bro.
like that I was like willing to go the distance just
Bro,
to
that
watch
is
this thing.
crazy.
I thought that shit was funny. I'm gonna do a calculation like tomorrow or something when I
Of how far?
remember and see on Google Maps, and I'll show you the route and I'll tell you how far. Maybe next podcast I'll get on and I'll tell
Wow.
everybody how
Wait,
far
dude, we can do it
I
right
biked
now.
for Kingdom of the Crystal
We can do it right
Skull.
now. Hold on. Because now if
Oh
we get the
shit.
real,
Okay,
hold
yeah, I
on.
should be able to guide you. Yeah, we're gonna have to put this clip out for people to see
Yeah, for sure. All right. So
because this is
where New
great.
Hampshire?
Okay, so we'll start. The starting point, I guess, will be my house because I'll actually remember the. All right, so 5 Linda Avenue. in,
All
in
right.
Dover, New Hampshire. Because I don't know the address of the other place. I guess we could just drag the map around. Yeah, Five Linda Avenue is where we pretty much lived for the majority of our time there. For
Look
like
at
20
that, man.
years
Look
in
at the
that house.
the Hernandez household, baby.
And I'll have you know, that is the flipped version of our house. That is not the version we grew up in.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Okay.
This is the nicer, updated version.
Does anyone live there now? Or
Yeah,
no?
there's definitely people. Not that I
Oh,
don't know
no.
who they
Yes, I'm saying like I
are,
don't know if your mom stayed there or
but
anything like that.
no, it got my uncle was still flipping houses at the time, and that was like the last house they did was they flipped ours. So
Okay.
it definitely looks nothing like it looked nothing like that inside or out when we were there for sure. All right,
Gotcha.
so
All right.
yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna have to back out. This is the starting point though that we know, but we're gonna have to back out to the rather map so I can show you where to go. Oh my goodness. I almost touched my screen. I feel like I feel like an old man. I was like, all right, let me see if I can touch this screen. You see where it says Wentworth Douglas Hospital?
Wentworth Douglas Hospital.
Oh wait, it was there and you zoomed out a little too far.
Zoom back in more. Oh, right here. Yep.
Yeah. Zoom into that area there. Because the Rite Aid or Walgreens or whatever it was at the time was right down the street from there. Oh, this is fantastic. I can't wait. I've never actually looked this up. Okay. See that major roadway right there?
This one?
Yeah, follow that down just a little bit. No, the other way.
Oh, okay, this way.
Oh, this is great.
Rite Aid.
Hold on. Yeah, you see where it says Rite Aid right there? Yeah, you already spotted it. Oh, that's it right there. That's
where you drove to. Okay.
All right, so we could get that address and then we could click it in. Oh, it's gonna be so embarrassing. The whole world's gonna know how far I biked for this DVD. It wasn't even a Blu-ray at the time. It was just DVDs.
All right.
Geez, that's way too funny, man. I don't know. I still, much like when I was watching the TV show Lost, I don't know. I still defend it. I have fun with it. That's why I like Spielberg a lot. Sometimes he makes different films like Schindler's List that are really impactful, and sometimes he makes films like Indie. And I think they're both good and they're both valid. Much like the whole, Marvel and Scorsese and Ridley kind of debate. Like I think both are valid. They're both forms of art. They're both forms of entertainment. They're subjective like that. Dang, there is a bicycle option too. That's what's bad.
20. You bike 30 minutes, bro. Just about.
That's one way.
Yeah, it's one way. Yeah, it's one way. You biked 5 miles.
Holy shit.
Yeah, jeez. Homie.
So round trip 10 miles in an hour.
10-mile trip.
Oh shit! I don't think I biked that fast. I was a skinny fucker.
Hey, bro, that's crazy.
It's good to know that. I'm gonna write that down. Feel my dedication,
bro. That is. I've never biked that long for anything.
Oh man,
God damn.
We were always like hiking, biking through the woods, stuff like that. We were Stranger Things kids, but not as rich,
for sure.
and certainly not as interesting.
I remember there was we found through our woods, we found a secret path to a McDonald's. It was really it was really far from us. I remember it being like driving distance, like 15 minutes, but we found like through these woods, like someone hacked a path that literally led you straight to the McDonald's, so we could walk there. It was cool.
We found a way to get all the way from our house through the woods, and it wraps around this river that spills into a bay, and you follow like the path along the river, and you could get all the way to like the 24-hour convenience store that was down the street from the high school. So when I signed my own self out of school one day because I didn't want to sit in class anymore for the day.
Right.
I just went home at 9:30 in the morning. I took the I took the tree path because I was like, I don't need anybody I know seeing me on the road asking why I'm leaving school. So I went through the forest.
Yeah.
Halfway through the forest, I heard like a crack or something. I thought like
Ooh.
fuck predators with me, and I like spun around. There's a
Yeah.
fucking deer there, but
What?
it was just like one deer, and it was like a magical God of War moment. Like it was just like dead ass quiet, like everything had been sucked out of the air. And I was
Yeah.
just staring at this deer, and I was like, "See this? If I was stuck in fucking algebra, I would have never had this tranquil moment with this beautiful deer."
Wow. Very true. Very true. That is very true.
Stay in class, kids.
Very
Read.
read. Good night, Moon.
Good
Now
night,
we're
Moon.
getting back on the subject of indie. We're getting into I think we're getting into another awesome action sequence. And I didn't want to end this review without, or this talk without talking about the amazing action sequences in this movie, because I don't think there's better filmmaking than this. Like I feel like filmmakers to this day are still trying to capture what George and Steven put on screen in 1981. They perfected it in 1981. Like I that scene where he's like the dude, like he's about to get into that fight with the dude with the whip, and then he just pulls out his gun. What's a better character moment than that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, hands down.
Golly.
You know what everyone's problem is that the Jason Bourne movies came out, so everyone thought like shaky cam movies are now like what
Oh
it's
my
all
gosh,
about,
yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah,
and
yeah.
and Cloverfield. So
Yep.
when they started doing action sequences, you couldn't see them, so they wasted millions of dollars for nothing. So you go
Right.
back and you watch like these action sequences, and even if some of them aren't as tight as like newer ones and they look a little cheesy, they're
Yeah.
fucking miles better, man.
So
Like
good,
just
dude.
the set pieces, they're so good. It's at the show. You've obviously seen the show at
Oh,
Hollywood
the Disney World?
Studios.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. They
Mm-hmm.
do the whole boulder scene. They do the whole
Yeah.
fight with the plane. They do all the stuff here, like in Cairo, I think they're at.
I think
Yeah,
so.
it's tremendous, dude. This and the
I
thing
love the
that
scene where
really
he
gets
stabs the dude and then there's the apples in his back. Like he stabs him and the apples.
the scene that gets me, man, is like the one that follows this because it's all layered right on top of each other, which is ridiculous. It's a
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
good action sequence throughout the city and the gunfight and the
Followed
swords.
by another exposition scene. But I feel like every exposition scene is always bled with something that's like you're still on the edge of your seat. Like that one, he's like gonna eat like a poison grape or something, or an apple. Like
Oh,
there's poison something, and like
the
it's
poison
exposition.
date.
Yeah, the dates. Yeah, yeah. And it's
Yeah,
but it's exposition, but like the whole time you're like, Indy, don't eat it, don't eat it, don't like it's they're so good at that. Like this movie's so good at consistently keeping you entertained. You
then
never feel like you're just being like, I'm just sitting here hearing information right now, you know?
the monkey dies.
The monkey.
Poor monkey. The truck scene is the one that blows me away because just the choreographing of a sequence like that, you know, him being in the driver's seat, then on the back of the truck,
The
then in
truck
the
scene's
front of the truck,
insane.
then underneath the freaking truck. Like, it just blows me away, man.
Truck scene's insane. I heard that for that one where he shoots him instead of apparently they had a fight scene choreographed, but then they had people were getting food poisoning or something. Or there was like some kind of sickness.
That scene always interests me because it's like the freaking the dudes in the background hanging themselves shit in Wizard of Oz. Like every couple of years, somebody says like something different. But
Yeah.
the story I always ended up hearing was that like, oh yeah, Harrison had like dysentery or something. So
Yeah, that's what it
yeah,
was.
that was that. But what if you watch like you pop in that DVD and shit, like your boy, you pop in the special features. There's
Yeah.
literally all kinds of footage from a choreographed fight with that big dude with the sword.
Oh,
Like
so
there's
they
even
did
a
shoot it.
yeah, there's a bunch of footage they shot and it's all like deleted. There's even a portion where like I guess he dodges him and the dude's big sword cuts this guy's piece of meat as meat stand and he's like, oh shit cracked me
Wow.
up. I don't know why. And
All
there's a
right.
bunch of it. And there's even shots of Harrison like talking to like I guess stud coordinator saying like, yeah, what's to stop me from just shooting people? Like even he knew like why am I fist fighting these guys?
What?
And he was like, they were like, oh well, these guys come at you too quick, and Marion's over here. So I love that eventually they listened to him and they were just like, you know what? Let's just shoot the big.
It works
dude
for the
with the,
character, man. It works for the
it
character.
works so well. But that's one of those like old myths that I'm like, nah, bro, just it was definitely shot. I mean, maybe he had some BG too, some bubble gut, but
Well, as I'm saying,
I don't
maybe
know.
both can be true. Like they shot it, and then maybe they were like, "Oh, let's like go in for another take." And then Harrison was like, "Bro, my stomach is killing me. Like, why don't I just shoot him?" And then
Yeah,
they were like, "Oh, yeah, let's try that." And then it worked. You know what I
let's get
mean?
on the mic like Harrison's going down. Harrison going
Yeah,
down.
yeah. Like maybe he shot it once and was like, I don't have the stomach to do this again. You know?
Just shoot them, man.
Yeah.
Plus, it's probably hot as hell. They were filming in the deserts of Tunisia. I think pretty much. I think the same desert that they were filming Star Wars in. So I'm pretty sure it's probably for 200,000 degrees there.
Yeah. Yeah, because I want to get to because the scene you're talking about, that car scene where he's like,
Oh, the truck
yeah,
sequence.
where that dude like punches him and then he like flies out, then he climbs
Oh,
under the car, like,
that truck chase thing.
oh man,
And
bro.
I heard before that the stunt where he goes under is like a recreation from old western, and I don't know if it was exactly what they were trying to do,
What
but
do
if
you
you look
mean?
up,
Oh, like it was it takes inspiration from just another scene.
yeah, the
Oh,
western Stagecoach, one of my favorite movies from 1939 with John Wayne. It like helped put
never seen
westerns
it.
like back on the map. It
Mm-hmm.
established him as a megastar because he was really young, and it helped like uplift westerns from being like low pulpy B movies to like being like serious like films. And there's
Sure.
a scene where like they're on the stagecoach with the horses, and I think he jumps up a couple, but at some point I think he goes underneath and kind of like drags like pretty much kind of like Indiana does, like underneath it. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was supposed to be like reminiscent of that. And
Oh,
knowing Spielberg and everything, those guys definitely know their stuff, so I'm sure it probably
yeah, sure.
was. But that scene in the 4DX theater was bananas, man.
Oh, because the
Because
theater
that
moves
thing,
with you in those
oh
scenes. In those,
man,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it moves
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
hell of a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
more than you think it was. It made me laugh every time it moved because it was just so sudden and
Like
funny. I
jarring.
just kept,
Yeah.
I kept laughing the entire time because I was having so much freaking fun. But yeah, it just moves and there's wind effects and there's all these like sound things.
I
So
gotta see a
it's a
movie in
per
there,
is
man. I gotta see a movie in there.
I
Where is
was
that
I
theater
kept
at?
Waterford. Well,
Okay.
there's multiple of them. I think even the one by I Drive, I think might have one. But I was waiting to see something in there, and I always forgot about it. And I
I wanted
almost
to
went
see
one time when
Top
they were
Gun, I
showing.
think, in there. I want to see like
That would
Maverick
have
in
been
there. Yeah,
wild.
yeah, 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 yeah,
I think one
yeah, yeah.
time they were playing Gremlins, and I was just wondering how weird it would be, like what they would do,
Oh
because it
yeah.
sprays water too, which I thought
Oh
was
yeah. Like those Disney rides.
jarring.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much like that. But as soon as I saw that Indy was there, I bought a ticket like
Immediately.
immediately because I was like, there's no better film to go in there because they'll play even like new films in there. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
you can't do 40x on a 3.5 hour Avatar 2 movie.
Just
Like,
watching Endgame, just
yo,
like,
just
bro.
endlessly rocking, like, yo.
Yeah. Just throwing up violently.
I was like, it needs to
Jeez,
be
bro.
like this movie. It needs to be like a tight hour 45, and then you're done. You can't do no
Yeah.
giant epic in there, man.
Yeah,
No
I
dark,
was shocked
no
by that
Dark
too
Knight Rises.
when I rewatched this one at how short it was. And,
It is.
the last couple weekends, or I've watched a couple of movies in theaters. I watched Megan and Missing. You should really watch both. If you haven't seen either of those, you should really watch them. There, it's very shocking how great the January lineup has been. It's been a really great January in terms of like films. But they're both really long. Like way
Really?
longer, yeah, like or like longer than I expected. Like it's just like I don't, especially like a horror movie. I always feel like 90
Yeah.
minutes is like a solid time to like, so when they pass 90 minutes, I'm always like, you better have for a horror movie, you better have some good stuff going on to get
Yeah.
past the 90-minute mark. Both of them did. Both of them successfully were great movies, well past the 90-minute mark, but like this
Huh.
one's an hour 45 and it's like an action movie, which like nowadays, like these Avengers movies are like
Sure.
3 hours, 4 hours. Like Wakanda Forever, loved the movie.
It was
Took
long
forever.
as
Took
fudge, bro.
forever, bro. Like I love you, Ryan, but we can cut some of this, homie. We can cut
Might
some
as
of
well
this
put
out.
might as well put an intermission on that bad boy and
Yeah,
go,
God, man.
man.
Like I, I get it, but
Yeah.
geez, bro. I'm trying to make it to dinner.
Like Ryan, I'm gonna write a letter.
Yeah, man, I love you. Like, I think you're a fantastic filmmaker, but come on, man. Come on, bro.
Let me get the intermission.
Well, you think these stunt men do stunts like this? These stunts crazy, bro.
You watch a lot of older films and you start thinking like the rules were not the fucking same.
Yeah, they're out here breaking
Like,
their back and
biscuit risking.
Yeah.
And I feel like the money was probably
like
always
he really fell off
good.
that cliff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
onto like one king size mattress at the bottom of it.
You know, before, I was gonna say before we missed talking about it, like the Industrial Light and Magic was relying so hard on like the Star Wars movies, and this was one of the examples of a movie where like they could actually like branch out and do something like non-Star Wars related, and it's definitely what adds to the magic of these first three movies. It's just like you're looking at like matte paintings, all these practical effects, all the stunts are being done for real, and I think that makes a huge difference too.
Ooh, that dude bended a tree for real.
He literally got hit. I think it makes all the difference too. And that's what's difficult about when Crystal Skull came out, because now it's 08. You're in a whole new era. It's post
filmmaking.
It's post Lord of the Rings and all this shit where they have full CG characters carrying the screen, and they'll put stuff in there that's actual like practicals, but like the moment you saw the CG groundhog in the beginning, you were like, fuck.
Yep.
This is a different era.
It's a different era film, bro.
There were some shots in the film that like it definitely was its downfall, like some of those jungle film shots in the movie.
Yep.
With the monkeys and stuff, and I was just like, see, this is too much. It needs to be a healthier blend, because these movies like prided themselves on the old school effects. Like, dude, the dude's waxy head melting when they open up the ark, they let the ghost effects and stuff like that. Like, it's weird to me that they relied so much on CG. I think it was just like the move at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hopefully now with this new one, I'd say we didn't even talk about that. The new one coming out, Dial of Destiny. Hopefully now they realize what they did, wrong, and they dial back on that.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. I think it'd be naive of me to think that. Wait, who's directing it? Is it Spielberg?
No, it's James Mangold.
Okay, I just feel like
he did 310 to Yuma, Logan, Ford versus Ferrari, bangers.
Well, yeah, bangers. Yeah, I just feel like it's everyone understands what the issue was, or at least I think understands the issue with Crystal Skull, and we know what makes indie great. There's still people who are doing great stunt work, great practical effects, and you can blend the two and still have some CG in there, because obviously Harrison Ford is the ripe age of 109. So it's like don't exactly, like don't put this man in any danger, bro. Like he's not this young anymore.
That's what gives me faith that the movie will be decent, because he did Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but Harrison is definitely one of those crass old dudes at this point, and there was no way that he was going to do another one after that unless he thought like, I like this script, this is pretty solid.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's kind of like Tom Cruise isn't nearly as old, but I've heard that he was pitched a lot of Top Gun 2 scripts, and he passed on pretty much all of them until he finally found the one for Maverick.
Yeah.
Or, I don't think he co-wrote it, but like it took him these many years to finally get something where he's like, I like this script, I like the direction this is going, let's do it. And I feel like Harrison's too old to where it's really got to move him for him to be like, all right, I'm willing to suck it up and be on these long film sets all day. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't need the money. Harrison Ford doesn't need any more legend status. He's already a legend.
No, that's a really good point.
18 times over,
There's a lot of these stars that like or kings of the box office, and now it's just like, listen, I'm gonna pick my time. I'm gonna spend my time. I'm gonna try to pick wisely, because if you got to be on the set, or you're away from your family, or your comfort of your own home, like, I'm not about to waste my time on any of these films like I did when I was younger.
Right. I'm surprised Samuel L. is still doing it. Samuel L. This brother will take any film that comes this, but man, if I got lucky enough to direct a movie, I feel like I passed him a script, he'd be like, for the right amount, I'll be there.
Like, yeah. I'm leaving with something.
I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm leaving with something.
Oh, that shit cracks me up.
That was a
man,
great
I'm telling
gift.
you,
That was a great
I
gift.
absolutely love it, man.
That's a good gift.
Oh.
But yeah, man. I guess we'll do final thoughts, man. Final thoughts on Indy, on what this meant to you as a kid, anything, man. Like,
You know what?
it's a
My
great movie.
final thought on this is the John Williams did the score, much like he does for.
Oh, we didn't
so
even talk
many.
about John Williams, bro. Good lord.
The man has the Midas touch. Everything turns to gold. He's been collaborating with all these guys forever. And he's going to come back and do the last indie. And he's expressed interest in it being his last thing that he composes, which I think is great. That's like winning the Super Bowl and
That's
retiring.
amazing.
That's a baller
bro.
status.
I would say this movie is arguably his best work.
It's so fucking iconic.
You know what I mean? I would love to see like I've heard there's showings of this movie where you can watch it and then with a live orchestra, and I would love to see something like that.
I've seen so many people who went to all kinds of movies where that's what they do, the live orchestra. Yeah. And I'm dying, bro. I'm dying for somebody to take me to that, because they'll do it with
me to that.
Yo, yeah, I don't even want
take me out, bro.
I just wanted to be invited.
Yeah,
they've done them with the Lord of the Rings. I'd cry.
Oh my gosh.
You bow to no one, and then
Lord of the Rings. I'd do it for Star Wars. I'd do it for Harry Potter, bro.
They've done a lot of the Harry Potter ones like that too, which again was partially John Williams in the beginning.
Yep.
That man is gold. So I know, I think as long as he's on it too, they got all these people. Yeah, I think it's gonna be magic. I'm gonna have to bike twice as far to get the 4K of Dial of Destiny.
If you really want it, Dylan.
If you really forget getting in my car.
No.
I'm gonna go old school. I'm gonna bike to the Walmart.
You use those 2 feet and you get there.
All my life.
Oh, right. My final thoughts. Yeah, Indiana Jones is top 5 greatest movie heroes of all time. I just feel like it's filmmakers to this day are still trying to capture what George and Steven captured in 1981. Man, like it's. I've seen this movie at this point more than 10 times probably, and like each time I'm always just like impressed by something else. Like I just don't. We're watching the scene where they cutely get him to be like he's hurting. He just had the big chase down in the truck scene, and Marianne's like with him, and she's like, and he's like, I'm leave me alone, I'm hurting, and she's like, well, where doesn't it hurt? And then he says like his elbow, and then she kisses it, and he's like, well, actually, this place doesn't hurt. This doesn't hurt. And it's a cute way of doing a romantic, like they don't miss. This movie doesn't miss. This movie doesn't miss. It doesn't miss. Like
it does not.
There are so many ways to write in a corny. Let me tell you something. You talked about how Spielberg wanted to do James Bond. James Bond has plenty of corny love scenes. This ain't one of them. You know what I mean? Like it's cute. It's a cute love scene. I wish my girl would do it to me right now.
You're like, hey yo,
this don't hurt. This don't hurt. That don't hurt. You know what I mean? They couldn't get there because this wasn't rated a certain way, but I know what that deleted scene was saying, and he said down there don't hurt. You know what I mean? But yeah, man.
I know
where that deleted scene was going. But yeah, man. All in all, like this was a great pick. Dylan, you always seem to pick the ones that are like
trying, man.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm out here picking Cheetah Girls, and you're out here picking the the quintessential.
I watch Cheetah Girls too any day. I've been to Barcelona.
This is the quintessential. We're talking about killing Nazis in this one, man. It's going crazy. It's going crazy. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode. Stay tuned. We got a lot of good stuff coming. Tony will be on the season. I promise you he will be. Again, he was a lead animator on most famously Mulan and Brother Bear, but he also did some other movies in the Disney Renaissance period. We got Tyler coming back. I know Vic and Steven are coming back. We finally get Dylan's brother, Lee. He's going to be on. I think you said one of the stunt coordinators from Marvel shows. We might be able to get them on, right? Weren't you saying that? Or he was an extra in the Marvel movie
Oh,
or Marvel TV
Brian,
shows?
Brian,
Yeah.
Brian's acted in a bunch of different things
Yeah.
that you'll be able to find. He was in WandaVision.
That's what it was.
He was the police officer outside the city. I can't remember the name of the city when she made the fake town.
Yeah, the fake one. Yeah.
He was a security guard guy, and I think the second season of Stranger Things. He's on.
Dang.
He has a part. I think he has a small part in the new show Will Trent that just came on, like NBC or whatever. He does a bunch of things. He'll be in Georgia, always doing something.
Awesome.
Super cool guy. Definitely give us some cool industry stories. I know everybody look forward to that. So
yeah, man, some more.
The hype is real.
The movies have always been great, and the conversations are going to get greater. You know what I mean? So just stay tuned. But until then, obviously, if you have any questions for us, I think that's all few. So on our next episode, we'll answer some questions from the Gmail. If that's xtrabutta@gmail.com, or xtrabutta@gmail.com. Feel free to email us, and we'll start the next episode with some of those questions that you guys have in. And then obviously socials. Dylan, what's your Instagram handle again?
Oh my goodness.
You have it?
Yeah, I think I do. I just think it's my name.
Sweet. Dylan Hernandez.
Dylan Carlos H.
There it is on Instagram. Make sure to give him a follow.
Little thumbnail will be a picture of me and my spunky dog.
yeah. Hinata.
She got a lot of attitude.
For me, it's Cam_Infinity. I had some people ask me the origin of that name. I don't have anything good. I think I was in college and was just like, this sounds cool. I have no.
Your AOL, your AIM handle?
No, my AIM handle was Football Players 01.
Oh snap!
Yeah, I still got that email. It's still around. It's still kicking.
I love it, man.
Sometimes you gotta make some dummy accounts, and that's the one I use. You know what I mean?
We gotta make some burners.
Sometimes you gotta make a burner. You know what I mean?
That's too funny.
But until then, it's been Cam.
It's been Dylan Carlos H,
the man who bikes 30 minutes for Crystal Skull.
10 miles.
10 miles, bro.
Round trip.
You could never
see these calves.
Shoot, sometimes I look at Dylan's calf. I'm like, where'd he get those from? Now I know.
Now you know.
But it's been Xtra Butta. Until next time, guys. Appreciate it.
Peace out.